guys? It's your favorite tarot reader, and I am back with another read. Okay, first, before I do the whole intro, y'all, it feels so weird to be back. I haven't filmed in damn near months, and I'm only filming right now because my client was late for her appointment, and I feel like this was the perfect opportunity to film. I'm in the mood to film, so yeah. This is not gonna be for a specific sign or nothing like that. This is just gonna be kind of like for today. Today the 12th. Yeah, today is June 12th. So we just gonna check on the energy of today, see what we got going on for today. I feel so different. Another reason, let me just little spiel before I get started. The reason why I really haven't been filming like that is kind of because I low-key been scared. Like, I feel like my readings are going to be so different, or my energy has changed so much. Like, a lot of my belief system have changed. A lot of what I used to feel, I don't feel like that no more. A lot of the things I used to believe, like about twin flames and about love and about spirituality and powers and God and all this kind of stuff. Like, a lot of my beliefs are kind of just like changing, and I'm real out of breath. Like, just from talking, that's how you can tell I haven't been working, but yeah, so we gonna try to see what comes out. We're gonna try to pull some different energy. I've stopped watching tarot readings completely. I feel like I don't really resonate with any of the energy anymore. I don't know if I need to find new readers or what, but I just don't really resonate with any tarot readers and stuff like that anymore. So I feel like it was definitely time for a lot of us to kind of like come back and get back into the groove. I also feel like a lot of us readers, like real readers, have kind of like taken a break. God has kind of like tried to sit us down and kind of like have us face our own stuff, because you can't heal the world if you're not healed yourself. And a lot of the times we got to go through it first so that we can have, you know, the information to share with y'all. So if your favorite readers or your favorite YouTube people have not been like posting or whatever, I feel like that's why. Plus, we just came out of an eclipse, and I feel like it was a lot of energy happening. So a lot of old wounds needed to be healed, a lot of old triggers coming back up. Like, just overall, like a lot of the past being brought back up to the surface. I also am hearing like being grounded, sacral chakra, and also kind of just rooting yourself, grounding yourself within your roots, so that, I mean, if you know your roots, if you know where you come from, then you know where you're going. Right. Alright, so let's go ahead and bless this reading. Spirit guides us in the master, so family, twin flame family, please be here with me at this time, helping me receive a message to deliver to the collective for today, June 12th, 2020. Okay. And I might just start doing these every day, like daily videos, instead of like doing them by the signs. But y'all can let me know like how it work for y'all. Cause sometimes, like, if I really like a reader, I'll watch every single sign that she has. Period. Just because, you know, you can always pull out different messages from different signs. We all harness all the signs. We are all everything. So, all right. I wonder, are all these cards backwards? Okay. First card out, we got balance, opposition, the mirror, taking a look at self, taking a look at your own flaws, things that have been holding you down, boulders. It feels like letting go of baggage. Also, like somebody could be making like a terrarium or some kind of like habitat for like an animal. I'm seeing like a lot of moss, what's that, like a flower wall or something, or like decorated, like pretty much like redecorating or like feng shui, or changing up the energy of the home. Also getting plants in the home, like planting, gardening. It feels kind of like bringing something to life, bringing maybe your house back to life, or bringing the energy back to life in your space. It feels like bringing something back to life. Also, this could be like working out, like dumbbells, getting your body right, getting your body tight, you know, feeling good about what you see in the mirror, you know, feeling good about yourself, being comfortable with yourself, but also confronting your enemies, confronting people who saw you as small. I feel like there's a lot of tests coming up, a lot of life lessons that are to be learned in order to propel you and push you to the next step. I also feel like it feels like no longer like objectifying yourself, kind of like stepping into your bag and being like, wait, I have arrived. This is also kind of being disciplined with yourself, with your money, with any bad habits, and with your manifestations, like whatever you're manifesting. This is being disciplined and like, look, I know this is mine. I know I'm going to get it. And whenever anxiety and fear and stuff does creep in, that's that being disciplined and being like, look, I know this is just anxiety. This anxiety is a warning sign or a trigger for something. Let me figure out what's the root, or what's the start of this anxiety. And then once you figure it out, it can easily be eliminated because you already know the root of the problem. You already know where it stems from, right? Because our fears are just our desires, you know. Also, what a time to be alive. We are definitely making history right now. We're definitely in a revolution. You know, there's a lot of protesting still going on. So I feel like this is like being a part of history, making your mark, allowing your wings to soar, kind of like flying above your own limitations. It feels kind of like going above and beyond. And when you look at the fly, they have so many different eyes. So this is being able to see from a bird's eye view. This is being able to see things from all different perspectives, being able to have breakdowns, but also understand that there are breakthroughs, right? Understanding that all the brainstorming you've been doing, the little break that God has had you on, has been, you know, God putting ideas in your mind, God giving you ideas and thoughts and ways to move on to the next step. It feels like the resting period was also like an incubation period where there was like a lot of thoughts being formulated, a lot of ideas, and a lot of new business ventures possibly being started. I'm also hearing like humanitarianism. So like maybe you are participating in the movement. Maybe you're participating in the protest. Maybe you are. Can you ask Johnny to wash your face, please?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to
Go get your own water. It's in the room. Go ahead. Okay. Using your parenting skills to kind of like navigate your relationship with your parents. I feel like this is like mending relationships with parents, whether that be a father or a mother. I feel like this is learning how to communicate your needs, the complexity of their lives, and how it affected you as a person. Also, I'm seeing like honeycombs, finding the sweetness, finding compassion, finding love again. You know, learning how to communicate the things that make you whole, the things that you want, no longer like holding back. I also feel like this is a sense of kind of like trying to balance out what you need within a relationship, like in order to be balanced. I also feel like you're coming into contact with somebody who just balances you out. In both of these cards, they have a triangle and they fell out together, and it's a triangle right in the middle. So to me, that feels like finding balance within your middle, within your heart space. The breast, nurture, and the sacral, you know, healing up that womb. I feel like, and that's those mother issues or those father paternal issues that I'm feeling. I feel like for a long time you've had your head in the clouds about your parents, about what they've been through, about who they are. It feels like some kind of bubble being bursted or learning some kind of information. I'm also hearing like frolicking in the flowers. It's kind of like maybe your life seems to be perfect, or you know, it seems like you have everything together, and I feel like it's coming into like, okay, well, maybe I don't, or maybe things have been different than what I thought they was. Maybe I wasn't seeing things clearly. It also kind of feels like you're being made conscious of certain decisions that you have made in the past. I feel like God is kind of calling you out and allowing you to see how certain failures certain tests were meant for you to fail. That's kind of what it feels like. You had to go through those failures in order to call out, you know, the problems, what the problems stemmed from or where they came from. It feels like a lot of you have kind of like walked very complex lives. Like, you know, on the outside it seemed like everything is maybe all together. You could have been like the popular loner. You could have been a person who on the outside it seemed like you had a lot of friends, but maybe on the inside you felt very alone. It feels kind of like even like in your home life with your parents, with maybe even siblings, feeling like the outcast, feeling like you were different. I don't know why, I just heard a lima bean. Maybe that was like a project that you did at school, like trying to grow the lima bean. What? Can you go in there with Johnny? You heard it? Let me kiss it. Okay, baby. Thank you. Alright, also also with this Aries energy that I'm feeling popping out, this is kind of like that fire intuition. Fire intuition could be watching for thank you to the masters. But to me, it's kind of like using that passion, that drive, that I just heard that stimulus. So maybe some of you guys who are getting a stimulus check is using that to fuel a new business venture or something that you've always been passionate about. It feels like getting back into things that you were into as a child, getting back into things that you loved as a child, that you loved to do. Maybe sing, dance, draw, artwork. It feels to me like sports or working out or doing something or being active in some kind of way. Maybe even riding a bike, playing jump rope. I know on Facebook there's like a jump rope challenge or something, like maybe you're participating in that. It feels like kind of like finding your community again, like finding things that bring you joy, finding things that make you happy, especially during this quarantine. Like we kind of quarantine, but kind of not. And it feels kind of like getting back into the groove of self, like using this quarantine to your advantage. Also, y'all, by the way, I made my shirt. I am going to start tie-dyeing shirts and putting my logo on them. So if you guys like this shirt, definitely leave a comment down below because your girl is going to start selling them. Aren't they beautiful? Like, do I not look super fly? Like, hello? Okay, period. Okay. And, as always, the jury, too. Wow. I know, I haven't really been promoting myself. I haven't really been, like, on here like that, y'all. God needed me. God needed to sit me down, and I'm completely okay with that. Look what popped out, the Cancer card. So, a lot of you, okay, period. A lot of you guys are just, as you work on your relationships with your own mothers, with your own children, if you don't have kids, I feel like this is you just working on your inner child, your inner self. This is mothering yourself, parenting yourself, learning and unlearning certain things that your parents taught you that you're like, okay, I don't need that anymore. A lot of times our parents raise us out of fear. They raise us out of fear of either not being like their parents or being just like their parents, or I'm also hearing like living vicariously through you. So for some of you guys, maybe in the past y'all was living through y'all children, like always wanted to let them wear little clothes because maybe you love their body. You're always calling them pretty but not really saying I love you. You know, it's a kind of feeling of if you had very low confidence as a child or something, maybe you put it on your child to be super, super beautiful or to keep themselves up. You know, this is realizing certain things that you're doing as a parent, as a friend, as a cousin, as a sister, and kind of just taking a step back and going with the flow, realizing like I can change myself, you know? I don't have to be this person. Also, it kind of feels like material stuff, assets, it's kind of just flowing freely to you. You got the 10 and the 2 equal 3. Thank you, City Masters. Thank you, Grandma. For a lot of you guys, I feel like y'all ancestors are kind of like ushering y'all towards spreading y'all wings and kind of putting yourself out there. Going back to y'all roots. It feels like this is something that you've done in the past life. This is something that has come easy to you. It's like a gift. Any gift that God has given to you, I feel like you guaranteed to make money from it or be famous from it. It feels like this is your purpose. You know, it feels like this is what you're supposed to be doing. It feels like you're supposed to be on a big stage making history. For a lot of you guys, I feel like earthly possessions and stuff like that no longer hold you down. It's kind of like I'm not fearful of assets. It feels kind of like it feels like no longer being in a poor person's mentality. It feels like kind of like spending your money, spending your assets, and allowing it to flow back freely to you. 33, thank you to the masters. It kind of feels like letting go of your manifestations and allowing them to fly back to you. And the song is like, yeah, yeah. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, like I feel like you're getting a yes. Like you're constantly getting a yes. Whatever questions that you're sending out into the universe, I feel like you actually getting very clear signs of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I feel like maybe you could be coming out of a whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch of kind of like dishonesty with yourself, a lot of kind of being in denial. And it feels like finally getting those answers. Like, okay, here's why I'm like this, or here's where this pain comes from. Here's where this attitude comes from. It's learning to accept yourself. Like, realizing that this revolution is not only about the world changing, but it's also about change coming from within us. That's how the world changes. It starts with us. And I feel like that's what we're realizing as human beings. We're realizing that we do have powers, that we are multidimensional, that, you know, we aren't the biggest thing walking. You know, like there's a whole world that's bigger than us, that's beyond us. And I feel like all the lightning, all the storms, like, it's time. It's like a lot of the times you see like, oh, the brightness after the storm, you know, but who says the storm isn't good? Who says that the storm doesn't clear away old weeds and bring in new life? Who says that the storm doesn't water all kind of motherfucking plants and trees and life that needs it? You know, I feel like a lot of times we look at the storm as the enemy instead of appreciating it, and I feel like we're coming into a lot of gratitude, a lot of blessings, a lot of happiness, a lot of just joy, and not even for material gain, just joy of like knowledge, joy of growth, joy of like self, like realizing, damn, I'm different today, or I'm proud of myself because I handled this today, or, you know, this is just giving yourself props and kind of showing up for yourself, being there for yourself in ways that maybe you wanted a parent to show up, or a friend to show up, or a significant other. I feel like at this point, you showing up for yourself in every kind of way, in your relationship with God, in your health, in the things that you put into your body. I've recently come on the fact that I feel like our body, like the inside of our body, is like its whole own ecosystem, life, world type thing. Like in the inside, it's like whatever we put in, they working together. Like, oh, she just put in some hot flamings, let's give her burn, or something like that. You know, I feel like inside they like kind of like it's all energy, like, and we have to be mindful of even our insides and what we put into our body. So it's kind of like coming into epiphanies and realizations that it's bigger than us. Like, it's bigger than this. And then somebody just wrote me, she said, I'm sorry, I had an important call come in that I had to take. So it's a sense of kind of like, if you're a business owner, I feel like this is kind of like stepping into the business role. Because, I mean, even if you go to a restaurant that has a certain policy, you're going to abide by that policy because it's a restaurant, because it's an establishment, right? So I feel like make yourself that establishment, have that same self-care and that same respect for yourself. And me, in the past, if people were late or anything like that, it would kind of just be like, okay, you know, you can do whatever you want, you can go over the time, you can do this, you can do that. But I feel like if you want to start to be a business and you want to run your business like a business, you have to start acting like an entrepreneur. You got to start acting like the boss. Sometimes people not gonna like what you have to say. Sometimes, you know, you may lose customers if they don't necessarily like the fact that you're strict or whatever, but it's about gravitating the right people towards you. And I feel like a lot of the times, again, we teach people how to treat us, even if it's a business, a small business or something like that. You don't want to let people continuously be getting over on you or feeling like they can, or even if it's not people getting over you, because I don't want to look at it like that. I feel like people are only going to do what you allow, and sometimes it's in people just naturally to try to get as much as they can. That's just what happens. That's just how they were raised, or maybe that's just who they are. It's not their fault if you allow it to happen. It's yours. So this is coming into self-acceptance. This is coming into the role that you play in how people treat you, or the things that people do to you, or the things that you allow to happen. Okay. So, let's see. So we have the moose. With self-reliance and measured patience, adversity will be overcome. And when I'm thinking about the moose, like, it's kind of like quiet, self-like, you know, just grazing, kind of like moving at its own pace. And I don't think, obviously, I don't think they're a prey animal like a zebra, but it feels kind of, and they have antlers, so this is kind of like taking charge of your own life, even if that means being patient, even if sometimes that means sitting yourself down, that's still being in charge and in control of your own life. I feel like that's kind of what I've come out of. I've been telling myself this whole chapter in my life right now is about patience. You know, sometimes I have to sit myself down and be like, okay, you've been on go mode for a couple months now. Let's sit down, let's rest and recharge. And, you know, sometimes I can get hard on myself and be like, well, damn, you being lazy, you're not really doing nothing. But then I have to ask myself, well, why do I feel like that? Is it because I'm thinking about what other people are going to think about me taking a break? Or do I really feel like I'm being lazy? And most of the time, all of the time, I feel like other people are judging me for not working or for not doing what I'm supposed to do. So to me, it kind of feels like taking everybody else out the equation and doing what's best for you, regardless of how it looks to other people. You know, if your house been dirty for a whole month and you depressed and you can't clean it up, and everybody like, you know, that's gross. It ain't nobody's business. We don't judge. It's a feeling of like, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, even if you moving slow, even if you feel like you not getting it as fast as somebody else. So what? So what? To me, it feels like finding people you can relate to, or just related to other people, being able to relate to other people, like having things in common with people. You could be meeting like new people, meeting a soul tribe, getting a new job, or coming into like a different kind of community. It feels like togetherness, or maybe like a big move, traveling. It says travel will open up new possibilities and one special connection. So for some of you guys, if you're making a big move, or if you have moved during the pandemic or something, I feel like you could be meeting a soulmate, meeting a love, or a best friend. Like, I'm picking up on a best friend, like a really, really close girlfriend relationship, or just meeting your soul tribe, meeting your peoples, like maybe joining a gym where you find friends that you really, really like, or maybe joining a gardening club. I don't know, fucking joining your kids' motherfucking PTA thing or something. I don't know. But it feels kind of like meeting good people, like starting to kick it with your friends, starting to hang out, starting to come into your womanhood or your manhood, your adulthood. It feels like coming into like a feeling of happiness that you've never felt before. Now, where you used to be fake happy and feeling like, oh yeah, I'm at the party, I'm having fun, it feels like that feeling of having to fake the funk isn't there anymore. Like, it feels like genuine happiness, enjoyment, love, success, abundance. Like, it feels like prosperity all wrapped in one. Like, it feels good. The energy feels very, very pure. It feels like coming out of a happy place where it's like, okay, I got my finances in order. I'm working on that. I'm loving on me. I'm getting my relationship in order. Whether you're in one or not, you working on yourself is preparing you for a relationship, right? Whether you have kids or not, I'm working on my relationship with them. You bettering yourself if you don't have kids. Again, it's helping you to be a better parent. It feels kind of like everything is like starting with you, like kind of like you at the root, you at the base. So for some of you guys, I'm hearing like, be my backbone, every nigga need a spine. I can't think of what song that is at the moment. I know it's a Rick Ross song, but I don't know what the song is, so maybe listen to it. It's gonna have a message up in there for you. But I feel like you're getting rewarded for being in somebody's spine, or you being rewarded for like holding everything down. You know, I feel like God is letting you know, like, I got you. You've been down, you've been holding it down, you've been, you know, you've been strong. Like the spine is kind of like the whole, like holding you up. It's kind of like it's the base, it's the baseline, you know, like. And one of like the first things that's like formed is like the spine to like the natal tube up here. For some of you guys, it's a little. I'm hearing like gestational period, like a long gestational period. I just saw in my head like an animal, a cat giving birth, I think. So for some of you guys, y'all could be coming up on some money because maybe one of your pets just had, like maybe your dog had a litter of cute dogs or something. 333, thank you, Cindy Masters. And maybe you buying a dog for somebody, or it feels like maybe like you making money because your pet had pets, or your pets had I don't know, okay, because I don't got no pets. But it feel like coming into some money because of an animal. Or maybe you trying to save up and have money so that you could buy an animal. I'm not really sure, but it's coming in like I saw a cat giving birth. So to me, that's like giving birth to new life, kind of like speaking life into yourself, speaking affirmations into yourself. Everything that you want, feel like you speaking it into yourself, you putting it into yourself. Maybe like your water bottles or whatever, write what you want to put on there, like self-love, abundance, care, and then you drink it, and it's kind of like you're setting your intentions as putting that into the water, and that water is now entering your body, right? So this is coming up with new ways to like love on yourself, coming up with new routines, new skincare routines, or eating habits. Or I really feel like some of you guys are really in the gym, You wasn't with me shooting in the gym. I keep hearing a lot of songs in my head, like a lot of music. So some of you guys could be an artist. Some of you guys could be listening to a lot of music. Music could help some of y'all through depression. I also feel like for some of you guys, there's a lot of kind of like sitting in the mirror crying, or like looking at yourself crying, or it feels like doing mirror magic. I'm also seeing like a lot of eyes everywhere. Maybe you've been feeling like you've been watched, or feeling people watch you. I've been seeing eyes everywhere I look, like in the clouds, in grass, on little things. I keep seeing eyes. Like it's kind of like somebody like, I want you to know that I see you. So this is like finally your light is being illuminated. It's like we see you. God is like, I see you. God wants you to know that you are seen, that you are noticed, and that you are here. Like it's kind of like finally being like, I have arrived. Finally stepping into like, okay, God did make me this person. I can appreciate this person that I am. I do love me. And that's not easy. That takes real strength. Look at this. The strength card, Leo card at the bottom of the deck with all of these fish. This is kind of like being overwhelmed by so many different money options. It feels like maybe in the past it was like, oh, okay, in your tarot readings you kept hearing like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a lot of options and I'm going to be so overwhelmed. It feels like being overwhelmed with options in work, in career, in family, in where you want to move. It feels like God is like giving you so many different opportunities, and none of the opportunities are wrong. It's like no matter which way you take, there is something that's going to lead you to the next step. Like it feels kind of like you have so many options, you have so many avenues, so many different turns that you could take. It feels kind of like you've prepared yourself for so much, and now the confusion lies with which road to take. Because you can do so much. You've allowed yourself to manifest so much, so many different opportunities for yourself. It feels like, damn, now I need to take a sit down, take a rest, and figure out which one of these lanes do I go down. Because at this point, I feel like the ball is in your court. For a lot of you guys, I feel like you're coming into your first bout of stability, like as a young adult, or even if you're older. Maybe you've just had a hard life and you're just now coming into getting a career. You're just coming into maybe buying a home or being in a stable, longer than a year relationship, or maybe coming into the stability of finally owning a car, or being able to have a car note and pay the bill every month. It feels like being able to put your bills on like auto, and the money just comes out and you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress about if you're going to have enough in your account at the time. Or I feel like the stress of money is being eliminated. It's kind of like God is like, that's one less thing that you have to worry about right now. That's one less thing that we gonna make you have to deal with. It's kind of like God is giving you. For some reason, I'm hearing like offerings. It's kind of like, look, let me offer you this so you can have this rest, so you can focus on this. It's kind of like God wants the best for you guys, wants you to kind of like get on your path and get on your purpose, and it's kind of like you're being nudged to do it. I also feel like that there's a lot of eliminating of self-judgment and judgment of other people. It's kind of like as you come into your own, and then a judgment card, self-reflection. As you reflect more on yourself and things that have been wrong with you, or things that you haven't liked, or things that you are wanting to change, I feel like you come in more into having an appreciation for other people. Now you're starting to see, maybe it wasn't everybody else that was a bad friend. Maybe I didn't know how to deal with people. Maybe I wasn't patient. Maybe I wasn't understanding. You know, this is you coming into realizing, hey, I have flaws too. But those flaws are there for growth. Like that's something, that's an improvement that I can make. That's something that I can do for myself. We got the sun. Remember I said giving birth, like the cat giving birth. You got the sun with the two little boys on it. Happiness. This is coming into abundance. This is also look like, look, coming into the world. This look like the eye of Horus to me. So maybe somebody's third eye is opening. Maybe this for me, I don't know why, but this look like two kids coming out of the like you know how the vaginal thing like open up a little bit, and it's like you can finally see sun. I'm seeing like, look who's talking in my mind, and it's kind of like they ready to swim their butt on in through there. And then you got the world here with regeneration, so you could be dealing with the Pisces. Whenever I see fish, this is either babies or currency. So for a lot of y'all, I feel like y'all coming into a lot of money. And I feel like this finna be your baby. Like this project or this new business venture, this new home. Maybe you building a new home from scratch, and it's like this your baby. I feel like you giving birth to a new cycle in your life, a new time. Like, what a time to be alive. Like, this is like a whole new phase, maybe. This is a whole new phase of life. This is happiness. This is abundance. This is regeneration. This is newness. This is healing. This is the process. This is like after the healing comes this. This is the break. This is the well-deserved break. You know, after all the struggle, after all the hardship, after all the heartache, you get a break. You get a break. And it feels damn good. Feels damn good, sis. Judgment was in reverse. Judgment and judgment. Releasing it. No longer needing it. It's like only God can judge. This is no longer caring about how other people see you. Being able to post pictures and you don't care how your house look, if you got crusties in your eyes. It's kind of like, this is me. This is how I'm coming. This is the it. This is self-acceptance. This is being like, look, I'm here. I have arrived. Like, getting all the tattoos you want, modifying your body however you want. Sis, if you want to get surgery and God gave you the money to do it, do so. You know, this is coming into like not really giving a fuck what nobody else be talking about. If God guided you to do it, if God wanted you to do it, it was meant to happen. Even if you feel like you're fucking up or you're making a mistake, I feel like even mistakes are divinely guided. If we never made mistakes, if we never fucked up, if we never struggled, I feel like we would be on the same motherfucking like the same line of just boringness. Like, this is what makes life exciting. You know, going up and down the motherfucking the peaks and the lows. I feel like the higher you go, like the higher your lows are. Eventually the shit that was low before, it's not even that bad no more. Okay. What's going on with this repetition card? Then you got doubt. I feel like the doubt came right on top of career. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, maybe you're doubting your career. I know I was. Before I filmed this video, y'all, let me just tell y'all, I was so scared to get back on social media, to start filming again. I really, really, really felt like y'all wasn't gonna fuck with me because I feel different. Like, I feel like I'm not the same person I was when I was posting videos 2 months ago. And it may seem like 2 months really not that long, but a lot can happen in 2 months, right? So it was a little bit of doubt. It was a little bit of fear there. Now I feel like that's kind of being eliminated as I kind of like step into the fact that like, look, this is not just for me. This is not just for me. You got a 10 on here. This is like the completion. This is the end. This is it. It's kind of like I have a purpose in this revolution. Like, I have a voice in this revolution. I have a page in the history book with my name written on it. So who am I to doubt what God has for me? And I feel like that's the energy that we're coming into. God gave us that break, you know, that break to doubt ourselves. Yeah, we was on a break for a while. A lot of us, we haven't been working. We've been on quarantine. A lot of us been getting fat in the house, eating this shit. Like, a lot of us just been chilling on a break from the world, right? God gave us that in order to realize shit within ourselves, to realize that we have to be patient with ourselves, to realize how much we should love ourselves, to realize how strong we have been, you know, to realize, hey, I've been stuck in the house. Maybe I do need to get out and enjoy the world. Maybe God gave me this world to enjoy, you know. There are certain realizations that needed to be made, and the only way we could have did that is by sitting our ass down. I had so many days where I just cried and I was like, I ain't shit and I'm doing this and I am lazy and I'm and it's just kind of like those days where I realized, where I had those moments of doubting myself. The next day I woke up like, damn, I needed that, because guess what? In that moment I realized, but you strong. You didn't just cry all that shit out. And then guess what? You still woke up. You still got this house. You still blessed. You still breathing. You still got knowledge. You still powerful. You still beautiful as hell. You still this. You still that. And I run down my list and I give myself my steals. I'm still this. I'm still that. I'm still this. Even if I don't got this. Even if I don't got that. Even if I feel shitty this day. Guess what? I still got God. God still said, here, but you deserve breath today. And that's enough. That's enough. So learning to kind of like cope with yourself, learning, I feel like everybody got mental health issues, learning what your mental health is. Do you deal with anxiety? Do you deal with overthinking or motherfucking going into your head or burying yourself into thoughts? Like, what do? This is learning how to cope with how you cope. Like, all coping mechanisms aren't good. And for me, one of the ways that I tend to cope with things is to kind of just like forget about them, not deal with them, push them out of my mind. And I realized in the last 2 months that walking away or not dealing with some shit is not necessarily the healthiest way to cope. But then also in that realization, that mistake, that fuck up that some people would say, I also realized, guess what? I know the root of why I have to walk away. I know the root of why I have to feel like I have to flee a situation. And now that I know the root, I can have compassion for myself when I do notice myself running. Oh, I'm running as a way to save myself. You know, I'm running as a way to not harm myself. And now that I'm aware of it, even if I do it in 20 minutes, I can realize, okay, look, that happened. I'm not going to be hard on myself because I did that. I forgive myself. I love me. I know that stemmed from me being hurt. So look, let me forgive myself. Boom, bam, I'm back. You know, this is like life lessons that need to be learned. Like, that's the only way I can really say it. It's kind of like you gotta go through some shit to really like understand some shit. Like, I feel like you don't really understand it until you go through it, and it feels like everybody is kind of coming into the same realizations. That's also another reason why I stopped posting videos, is because I felt like all my readings were becoming the same, right? Like, and that's not to say that they weren't right. They were right. You know, they were accurate. But everybody is in the same energy right now. Everybody has the same problems. That's what people don't understand. How can you do a reading and it's going to resonate for so many different people, thousands of people? Like, imagine how many people are watching tarot readings right now. Imagine how many people are learning how to manifest the life that they want. Imagine how many people are up on spirituality now based off of social media, based off of YouTube. This is a platform where literally prophets are prophesizing people's lives, you know, and with us being so connected, especially during this Black Lives Matter thing, realizing that we are all humans, you know, it's kind of like that's kind of where my stance was. And I know that's kind of why I don't want to talk about it on here, but it's like as human beings, I feel like we all fighting the same battle. Like, some of us got it worse than others, but it feels to me like understanding that we all have the same struggles. We all go through the same shit. Like, it just looks different. It just looks different. And I feel like when we give these messages, it's hard to believe that we reaching a lot of people, because you think to yourself, how many people could that be happening for? How many people could that story that I just said in that reading be happening for? But then you have to look at it like, why wouldn't that be the same? The same shit be happening in these readings. We want the same thing. We want love. We want career. We want to heal our parents. We want to be good parents. You know, we want to have money. We want to have success. Those are common things that we all feel. So why would it not resonate with a lot of people? You know, but that as a person who does this, or as a spiritual person, you do tend to think about that. That's where that doubt creeps in. How many people could I really be helping? You know? Even if you're not necessarily a tarot reader or something like that, maybe if you sell hair, if you do makeup, or maybe you make jewelry or make clothes, or maybe you're a personal trainer, or you make YouTube intros, or you are an Instagram influencer, or you sell flat tummy tea. Whatever it is that you do, you could be a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor. Whatever your job is, it feels like you're still healing somebody in some type of way. If you're doing makeup, you boosting somebody's confidence like hella high. You don't know what they was feeling that day. They obviously wanted their makeup done so that they could feel better, could feel pretty. So you have to give yourself credit and be like, damn, I really am having an impact on somebody, on somebody's life, on somebody's livelihood. And I feel like that's where that doubt had eliminated itself, because that's what gave me the motivation to get up and to work and to do this, was the fact that, like, I'm not just doing it for me. It's not just for me. When you tell yourself and God tells you that you are healing people, I feel like the doubt naturally kind of hinders itself and it goes away. If you are selling hair, it feels like you giving people what they see themselves being in their head. Spiritually, you are aligning them with what they see themselves having in their head. You know, so it's kind of like, don't be so hard on yourself thinking that you don't have a major role in this world, because we do. All of us. Even the homeless people, they have a role. Even people who are on drugs, they have a role. Doctors have a role. Motherfucking, even the bad doctors who motherfucking inject motherfucking cancers in people, even they have a role. There has to be polarity. There has to be good and there has to be bad. Like, there has to be wrong and there has to be right, and there has to be, like, why? Because we all have opinions. We all have different life experiences. What's bad to somebody not going to be bad to the next person. So it's about releasing that judgment. As you release judgment of self, you naturally release judgment of others. It just happens. As you have compassion for yourself, you start to have compassion for people from all different walks of life. Because you understand that as a human being, we all dealing with the same shit. We all right back here, incarnated into this world, living in this matrix. As different as we may seem, we're not that different. This is understanding only God can judge. What we judging for? Look at what's happening in the world. Are y'all not being awake to it, that only God can judge what's happening right now? It's all necessary. It's like the deconstruction of the world. It's like the whole earth is getting like bulldozed, so some whole new shit can be created. I really feel like, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but y'all know how like motherfucking cavemen evolved into us, and like the motherfucking dolphins and shit, how they used to be land dwellers and they evolved and now they fucking are just swimmers and shit. Like, you know, like, things evolve over time, and like, I feel like that's what's happening to the world. The world is learning to adapt to human beings, like, and it's becoming easy to live on earth. It's becoming easy to be a human. And it's kind of like, no, if everything is easy, then how are you ascending? How are you growing? How are you going to make your way back home? Because I feel like right now in the world, everybody get to cheat with everything. There's always an easy way out, right? Because we're evolving. So we're now turning the earth into our playground. We making it ours. Instead of learning lessons, people are not getting married at all. Marriage is declining. Even like with relationships, people deal with dating 20 and 30 people throughout their life, when in reality, you can make it work with anybody. You can make it work with anybody if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to face yourself. But it's like, we would much rather do the easier thing, the easier option. Oh, I'm just going to stop working on it with you and I'm going to go find somebody else. We've made life so easy. Even like the way we text, you can just say it at this point. Hey, tell so-and-so to call me. And then send a text. Like, everything in the world now is easy. So guess what? God said, oh, let's shake some shit up. Let's make some shit hard again. Let me make y'all go through all of this shit, so we can change up how things are going, because obviously things seem to be getting done too easily. People getting off on shit that's wrong too easily. Injustices are happening too easily. You know, so it's getting to the point where like some shit had to be shaked up, and that's what's happening. This is realizing we are in Judgment Day. This is Judgment Day right here. This is God realizing, like, okay, who knows who I am? Who believes in me? Who trusts me? Who has faith in me? Who's ready to fight with me? Who ready? And it's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of people. Not a lot of people are ready to fight. Not a lot of people are ready to go to war. And those are the people y'all finna see dying off, not making it. It's literally survival of the fittest. Period. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I might be back tomorrow. I might not. If I'm not gonna be hard on myself. Forgive me. But I'm manifesting that I'm gonna be back tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I am taking personal readings. You guys can Cashapp me at @CapriceCooks. You can also email me or Apple Pay me at CapriceCooks@icloud.com. All right, y'all, I'm out here. Yeah.